Welcome to my channel. I'm Cece with One Green Pea. Maybe it's spring fever, but I have been on a bit of a plant spree this month. So I thought it was a perfect opportunity to do a plant haul video and also to share with you my best tips for mindfully curating your plant collection. I have acquired everything on this table this month. Now, that is rather unusual for me. It's a lot of plants, but I feel like I've made some really good selections that fit well into my collection, and I've gotten rid of some plants that don't work for me anymore. I'll talk about those at the end of the video. I would really love to know in the comments which of these is your favorite, perhaps which one of these you have, or maybe which plants you have acquired this month. Let's jump right in. The first plant that I got this month is this really sweet string of hearts. I purchased this while I was on vacation in San Diego. We visited a farmer's market and they had a number of plant stands that sold houseplants. It was amazing to me, and they had really great prices. Now, I love strings of things. I have string of pearls, string of bananas, and even a ruby necklace. And I really have wanted to add the string of hearts to my collection. This was a healthy, sweet little plant, and he's already grown really well. They tend to be fast growers. Now, the difference between this plant and the other strings that I have is that it's not quite so succulent-like. The leaves are really delicate, and so I'm going to have to be more careful with monitoring the water and making sure that I'm watering often enough. So that was my first purchase. The next plant that I purchased in April was this Philodendron hederaceum, or Philodendron brasil. Now, this was a very calculated decision. I had a Philodendron brasil plant that I had cultivated from a propagation, and while it was doing fine, it was just taking a really long time to fill in the pot. So I purchased another one, a bit of a fuller plant. It was just in a 4-inch pot, but I planted it right here in the center of this pot. And I think that it looks really spectacular. And yes, I did acquire a plant, but I put it together just to make my existing plant look better. The next two plants that I purchased are two Pothos varieties. Now, I love Pothos. I talk about Pothos all the time, and these were just different varieties that I wanted to add to my collection. The first one is the Enjoy. I adore this variety. Now, this one is not as fast of a grower as the more traditional like golden Pothos, and also it needs more sunlight because of all the white variegation, but I'm really excited to have this one in my collection. At that same store, I purchased this Pothos Neon, and I love the light green, neon green color of the leaves. Again, because it's lighter, it needs more light than the more forgiving, shall I say, darker Pothos varieties. My next purchase was this Scindapsus exotica. This one came in a new way for me. I belong to a number of Facebook plant groups, and a local seller had this, and I jumped at the opportunity to have another Scindapsus, especially one with such large leaves. My other one has much smaller leaves. It's more of the traditional trailing type, and I just thought this was pretty amazing. So had to have it, and I got a good deal on it and supported a local grower. As much as I talk about curating a collection, there are definitely times that I just see a plant and really want it without knowing a lot about it. This is the Epipremnum pinnatum. I saw this at Trader Joe's and it was a steal, $6. And I love how it looks. An Epipremnum is a Pothos, basically. It's just a different variety. And I think that looks just so unique and so different. So this is a plant I definitely need to study up on to make sure that I'm providing the right care for it. But it already has a new leaf growing. And for $6, I figured I just had to have it. The next two plants that I purchased came from one of my very favorite online sellers, plantarina.com. If you have not followed Plantarina on socials, definitely go find her. She is hilarious and informative and has an amazing collection. But she also has a website, and all the plants I've ever ordered from her come beautiful. They come well wrapped and healthy. And she was running a really special sale recently, and so I jumped at the opportunity to add to my collection for 50% off. So here are the two plants I got from Plantarina. This first one is the Philodendron golden melinonii. Melinonii. Don't come at me, I have no idea how to say that. I love philodendrons, and they generally do really well in my space. So I figured I would love to add another to my collection. I love the color. You can kind of see I'm into this lighter green. So perhaps this is a spring fever type of thing. It already has another leaf growing right there in the center. And again, I'm really excited. This was a pretty expensive plant, more expensive than I would have paid for it in this size, but I got it at 50% off. And the second plant and the final plant that I purchased in April was definitely a wish list plant, and it is the Ficus triangularis. Oh my gosh, I am obsessed with this plant. Look at the heart-shaped leaves. How cute are they? I have several ficus plants, but I really wanted to add this one to my collection. Now, ficus in general have a reputation for being persnickety, and this one is definitely known to be a challenge. So I'm excited to take on that challenge and add this gorgeous plant to my collection. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'd like to talk briefly about mindfully curating a plant collection. Now, does that seem disingenuous when I have in front of me a table full of plants that I got this month? I hope not, because I really have been trying to focus more and more on only bringing plants into my home and my life that truly bring me joy and that I know I can provide the right care for. I have gotten rid of a number of plants recently that just didn't bring me joy anymore, that were difficult for me to care for, or that I just didn't love. I gave away a number of plants, and unfortunately, I also killed a few, but that happens. Here are some of my top tips for mindfully curating your plant collection. Number one, know your space, and most importantly, know the light that you can provide to your plants. That's the number one factor in my experience. If you can get the light right, then you can figure out the watering, and then the plant is going to just live its best life. The second one is know how much time you want to put into plant care. Some plants just take more time. They take more care. This little guy, for instance, my new string of hearts, I'm going to have to be paying a lot of attention, especially while it's this small, making sure that it is getting the right amount of water, that I'm not overwatering it, that's not getting too much sunlight. So he's going to take a lot of care. And if you're not into putting a lot of time into your plants, then that wouldn't be the right plant for you. Number three, know what you like. Buy plants that you like. Do you like big leaved plants? Do you like small leaved plants, trailing plants, standing plants? Know what you like, know what brings you joy, and then only buy those plants. And finally, maybe the most important way that I have been able to curate my collection is to have a wish list and stick to it mostly. I have a wish list on my phone, and I update it regularly when I see plants that really interest me and I would like to add to my collection. I put it on the wish list, and then when I'm at the plant shop and everything is calling to me and I need them all, I check my wish list. And if it's on the wish list and I feel like it's a good price, then maybe I purchase that plant. If it's not on my wish list and I still have to have it because it's only $6, well, then I go ahead and get it. But Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I make myself wait. Thank you for watching my video of my April plant haul and top tips for curating your plant collection mindfully. Let me know in the comments which of these plants is your favorite, and please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel. As always, my plant friends, let's keep growing together a greener world.